The year is 1999. I'm 6 years old and I just started playing Pokémon Yellow on my Game Boy Color. I didn't know it then, but the game would destroy my ability to read and understand language. Like most games, Pokémon wasn't localized here in Sweden, making phrases more complex than Thunderbolt or Water Gun impossible for me to comprehend. Replaying the game later in life when I understood English more gooder, it finally made sense to actually read what the various NPCs in the game had to say. And what they said broke my heart. Turns out it's not part of the experience to flail around the world like a wing-clipped Zubat for hours, weeks, months on end without progressing. Because apparently these morons hands out direction and advice? Advice? I mean, as a kid, the text was a complete gibberish. The dialogue meant nothing, while Pokemon meant everything. And I loved it. Pokémon also gave me the first delicious piece of my favorite gaming genre. You know, RPGs, the genre where text and dialogue is more important than gameplay? Well, except for, you know, in fucking Pokémon, which made me want to play more RPGs, but taught me how to not give a shit about reading and dialogue. Am I making sense? No, I'm not. And this is why I, today, come forth with a bold claim. Pokémon hyper-beamed my in-game reading comprehension, luring me into the RPG swamp while severely handicapping my abilities to enjoy said RPGs. Pokémon is the reason I can't follow the plot of The Witcher 2, have patience to finish Disco Elysium, and not clicking with the old Baldur's Gate games. Because clearly I'm not the problem, right? Oh, hello there. I'm Marcus Tigerdrake, and here is my contextual card containing information about me and my biases, which you can pause to read if you are curious. The Rock Tunnel. The Rock Tunnel. It's a pitch dark hellhole. You're more or less clearly encouraged to not make pitch dark with a move called Flash, so you can, you know, see anything. But for some reason I will never understand, Flash is hidden on an absurdly optional path past the severely overleveled murder excrement sticks. Which is probably what inspired them to make the Rock Tunnel traversable not only through light, but through pain and agony instead. Yes, you could in fact make it through without Flash, and it's not even that hard if you just hug the wall on the right. But I didn't know that. I was a stupid baby child. It took me days to force myself through it, being stopped every fucking step by this sound. Followed by me making this sound. Oh! You spoiled French fuck! You would have no trouble understanding the practically unavoidable hints from the NPCs regarding Flash. I was helpless. Like, even if I did stumble upon Flash for whatever reason, the word didn't mean anything to me, and I would have no reason to associate it with the cave. But all you baguette babies out there just had to read Eclair or whatever the fuck, swallow the red wine from your juice cup, and say, "Oh, maintenant je peux éclairer la grotte et ne jamais apprendre l'anglais." You had no excuse. By the way, how come the other caves are lit? Do they have like crevices where the light shines through? Are there lanterns installed as the caves like are part of the actual road between towns? Why are there no real roads? Is that a car? Wait, where did you drive that car? Why the f— There are other examples of the language causing this kind of trouble, but the Rock Tunnel is probably the most egregious of them all. But of course, I didn't give a shit because, like, fuck yeah, Charizard is a dragon, I guess. But again, deviously, Pokémon threw me down the RPG rabbit hole, which I'm still hopelessly stuck in. promising that yeah, story, reading, narrative, character arcs, plot, and themes, that shit is for the birds. RPGs are all about the gameplay. They aren't. So how come I still love RPGs to this day? Well, I think it all comes down to my next formative gaming experience. A world that deepened my love for RPGs and somehow fucked over my willingness to read and pay attention in video games even more. Yes, 2007 was the starting point for my 8-year World of Warcraft era. Actually, I do remember trying some like Final Fantasy at one point, but the language barrier made that impossible. But in 2007, I had no trouble understanding English, much thanks to the random assortment of games I played up to that point. That was an amazing benefit for us who played games. We fucking crushed it in English classes. Meanwhile, you could not find a single Frenchman, let alone a 13-year-old, being able to understand a single word of English. Oh, what's that you're reading, Frenchy boy? Candide? Well, I know what ice beam means. Idiot. So playing World of Warcraft was the first time I could fully comprehend and read the text of an RPG. Finally. And it was boring, and I always skipped it. Yeah, the reading World of Warcraft facilitates is dry and utilitarian, meant to give the task of collecting 10 bear asses the thinnest veneer of narrative context. I went on about this in another video, but the game also damaged my tolerance for boredom, insofar as boredom being a lack of stimuli or dopamine hits. But you know what's fucking boring as shit? Reading. But now we're faced with a problem because, not to brag, but I actually read books in their entirety, physical ones, at that time. I even read War of the Ancients in school, in English nonetheless, when I was like 15. Yeah, I didn't fuck, but I fucking read books. But as soon as the actual reading in the game commenced, I zoned the fuck out. Why? Because fucking Charizard taught me that reading is gay and flamethrower is awesome? Yeah, in his words. But thinking back, I hadn't really played a true RPG yet, and as I grew up, my appetite for the genre kept growing. Like a cyst. However, I had to spend 8 years in the WoW bubble before being presented with a light. I will never stop bitching about Witcher 3, because despite being 23 when I played it, it was as formative for me as Pokémon and World of Warcraft. And Witcher 3 is not an RPG, it's a fucking RPG. And a fucking RPG. And a fucking RPG, baby! So suddenly reading, listening, and paying attention to the goings-on of the story, characters, and narrative was very much required to be engaged. At first, that made me fall off hard. I had never played a game that looked this good, but the opaque loot, the references to characters I didn't know, and the lack of my ability to understand the story and plot turned me off. So then, after playing Skyrim for a few months, you know, the favorite RPG of everyone who has never read a book, I came back, prepared, after watching a recap of events, and Witcher 3 swallowed me and digested me whole. Now, in a way, I was bought. Witcher 3 has top-notch cinematography and direction for all its insane amounts of dialogue scenes, and that level of production costs millions. But those millions made me finally overcome the literate erosion that Pokémon and World of Warcraft had cost me. I cared about the story, I connected with the characters, I paid attention. It was too good. No, really, it was too good. The bar of me paying attention now in a narrative-focused game was placed at the absolute highest the industry had ever mustered. Like, I always loved the look and feel of the old Baldur's Gate games, but going from a scene like this...
I used to like Botticelli. The life he could breathe into a chunk of cold stone. But I look at it now, and it seems just a rock. Ideally proportioned. Not a flaw on its surface. Painfully perfect.
To a scene like this?
Ah, it is you again.
Like, see? The Witcher 3 fucked me over! I mean, I can't take in what's being said. Nonetheless, I was exposed to a compelling narrative and great writing in the context of games, and have been many times since then. In some ways, it's still a work in progress because, for example, while I loved Disco Elysium, I have yet to finish it. It's just so much reading. It's so much reading. It's as boring as reading a book. But then we have Divinity Original Sin 2, which was the first CRPG that grabbed me, with a presentation more resembling the miniature approach of the old Baldur's Gate, with volumes and volumes of text. It's as boring as reading a book! And then came Baldur's Gate 3, once again shaking the industry to its core, like Witcher 3 had done before it. And as predicted, I had zero issue following the narrative then, being so easily bought and swayed by the lavishness of the production. So, in summary, Pokémon brought me down the RPG path, World of Warcraft caught me in its tantalizing net, and Witcher 3 saved me with its millions of dollars of production value and amazing writing, spoiling me, but also providing hope to read and pay more attention in narrative games. And the lesson here? I don't know. This is an autobiographical gaming channel. Is there a point? Can we just? You watched it. What am I supposed to? Thank you for watching. I will be back next month with a video about Tears of the Kingdom. Bye bye.